Former President Donald Trump, known for his bold pronouncements, once again stirred the pot with claims that the United States was subsidizing Canada to the tune of $200 billion annually. He argued that Canada was getting a free pass on defense, relying on the US for protection. These claims, characteristically Trumpian in their delivery, sent shockwaves through the generally amicable US-Canada relationship. Trump painted a picture of Canada as a nation unfairly benefiting from American generosity. He suggested that Canada was not pulling its weight, both financially and militarily. His words resonated with a segment of the American public, always wary of being taken advantage of on the world stage. However, a closer look at the facts reveals a different story. Trump's use of the term subsidy was misleading, conflating trade deficits with financial handouts. His assertions about Canada's defense spending also lacked nuance and ignored the complexities of the bilateral security partnership. To understand the complexities of US-Canada economic relations, it's crucial to differentiate between a trade deficit and a subsidy. A trade deficit occurs when one country imports more goods and services from another country than it exports to them. It's simply a measure of the trade balance between two nations. A subsidy, on the other hand, is a direct financial assistance provided by a government to a specific industry or company. It's a deliberate intervention in the market to support a particular sector. Trump's use of the term subsidy to describe the US-Canada trade relationship was misleading. The US does have a trade deficit with Canada, meaning it buys more from Canada than it sells to them. However, this doesn't equate to a subsidy. It simply reflects the interconnectedness of the two economies and the mutually beneficial nature of their trade relationship. In 2024, the U.S. trade deficit with Canada in goods and services was $35.66 billion. This figure, while significant, is a far cry from Trump's exaggerated claim of $200 billion. The goods deficit, which focuses solely on physical products, ranged from $63.33 billion to $70.603 billion in recent years. These numbers highlight the robust trade relationship between the two countries. Canada is the second largest trading partner of the United States, after China. The two countries share a highly integrated economy, with goods and services flowing freely across the border. The trade deficit is not necessarily a bad thing. It often reflects the comparative advantages of each country and allows consumers in both nations to access a wider variety of goods and services at competitive prices. When it comes to defense spending, there is no doubt that the United States outspends Canada by a significant margin. In 2024, the U.S. allocated 3.4% of its GDP to defense, amounting to a staggering $997 billion. Canada, in contrast, spent 1.3% of its GDP on defense, totaling $29.3 billion. This disparity in spending has been a point of contention for some U.S. commentators who argue that Canada is not contributing enough to collective security. They point to NATO's guideline, which encourages member countries to spend at least 2% of their GDP on defense. However, defense spending is not the only metric of a country's contribution to global security. Canada has consistently participated in international peacekeeping missions and has been a steadfast ally of the United States in times of conflict. Section 5. Sharing the Skies, the NORAD equation. One area where U.S.-Canada defense cooperation is particularly strong is in the realm of aerospace defense. The North American Aerospace Defense Command, or NORAD, a joint U.S.-Canadian organization, has been responsible for monitoring and defending the airspace of North America since 1958. While both countries contribute to NORAD, the U.S. bears a larger share of the costs, estimated at around 60%. This has led to accusations from some quarters that Canada is getting a free ride on U.S. military power. However, Canada has announced new investments in NORAD, pledging $4.9 billion over 6 years and $38.6 billion over 20 years. These investments demonstrate Canada's commitment to modernizing NORAD and ensuring its continued effectiveness in an era of evolving threats. Section 6. A history of harmony U.S.-Canada relations through the years. The U.S. and Canada share a long and storied history, characterized by cooperation, mutual respect, and shared values. The two countries have the longest undefended border in the world, a testament to the deep trust and friendship between them. From the early days of exploration and settlement to the two world wars, the US and Canada have stood shoulder to shoulder, facing common challenges and celebrating shared victories. Their relationship has been a model of peaceful coexistence and collaboration. While there have been occasional disagreements and disputes, as is inevitable between any two sovereign nations, the US and Canada have always found ways to resolve their differences through dialogue and diplomacy. Section 7 Media Mayhem Dissecting the Trump Derangement Syndrome. Trump's provocative statements about Canada, particularly his claims of subsidies and free military protection, were met with a mixture of amusement, bewilderment, and outrage in Canada. The Canadian media, accustomed to a more measured and respectful tone in international relations, was quick to fact-check Trump's assertions and highlight their inaccuracies. Some commentators saw Trump's remarks as part of a broader pattern of disregard for traditional allies and a preference for transactional diplomacy. They argued that Trump's America First approach was undermining long-standing partnerships and creating unnecessary friction. The term Trump derangement syndrome, often used by Trump's supporters to dismiss criticism of his policies and behavior, was also invoked in this context. It refers to the alleged irrational hatred and obsession with Trump exhibited by his opponents. Section 8. Finding Common Ground, the Path to Continued Cooperation. Despite the occasional diplomatic dust-up, the US and Canada remain close allies and partners. Their shared history, values, and interests provide a strong foundation for continued cooperation on a wide range of issues. Both countries recognize the importance of maintaining a strong and stable bilateral relationship, not only for their own prosperity and security, but also for the benefit of the wider North American region. Moving forward, it's essential for both sides to engage in constructive dialogue, address legitimate concerns, and find common ground on issues of mutual interest. This will require a commitment to diplomacy, compromise, and a recognition of the interconnectedness of their two nations. Section 9. An Enduring Bond, the Future of US-Canada Relations. The US-Canada relationship has weathered many storms in its long history, and there's no reason to believe that it won't continue to do so in the future. The bonds between the two countries run deep, rooted in shared values, economic interdependence, and a commitment to democracy and the rule of law. While there will undoubtedly be challenges and disagreements along the way, the enduring friendship between the US and Canada provides grounds for optimism. By working together, the two countries can overcome these obstacles and build an even stronger and more prosperous future for their citizens. The US and Canada are more than just neighbors. They are friends, allies, and partners. Their relationship is a testament to the power of cooperation and a beacon of hope in an increasingly uncertain world.